What is up, Roars family? We're all here. Good. I can't. Okay. Welcome to this week's live stream AMA. We're gonna go through some stuff. What's been going on lately? There's been a lot going on lately. It's been really fun. We've been doing so many different things. And yes, Roars guy. I literally just texted Luke about Roars and I spelled it like that. Like it's transcended its original meaning. If you know, you know. All right. If you have any questions or anything you want to put some clothes on, guys. I'm wearing a tank top. I'm sorry. There you go. If you guys have any questions or thoughts or anything you want to talk about today, throw them in the YouTube live chat or the Twitter live chat. Let's keep it farmer friendly. Have a good time. And let's bring up Luke.
Hey, everybody. Excited to be here. It's been a pretty eventful last couple of weeks, right? I want to give a shout out to the team because they've been doing such a good job of getting the game updated quickly. I hope that you guys see that the game is the speed of development has really picked up in the last couple months. You're starting to see the fruits of that too. So yeah, show the team a little bit of love there because it's been awesome to see it. Everybody who's working on core game right now is just absolutely crushing it. So yeah, you can see that we're updating live ops. We're making some changes to balance quite often. And then we're still working on chapter 3. And we're really excited about where chapter 3 is going. I think it'll fix a lot of some of the end game problems that we've been having. It's not going to fix everything. But yeah, give the team a little bit of a shout out. Give them some encouragement because that'll make them work even harder and faster if they see that you guys appreciate it. Yeah, other than that, I think what I want to go through today is we'll also talk a little bit about what we're thinking with play to earn, because I posted something about that and I saw some questions and some comments on it too, being like, why would you talk about play to earn? We don't think it's going to work. I still think play to earn is viable and will work. The way that we're doing in Pixels right now is not sustainable, but also actually Pixels metrics have been doing pretty well since the last 2 to 3 weeks of updates with VIP tiering, Leon's Neon Zone, and everything else that we're doing. Pixels is finally going the good upward trajectory again, which is great. But we'll also start to experiment with some other stuff soon that might even change that even more for the better, right? So we'll talk about some of the strategy, how it might relate to the Pets app, what we might do inside of Pixels. We'll show you some previews of some other stuff too. And yeah, we'll just also go over what we did last week, same as usual.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Sorry, I'm getting I'll turn off my notifications. Sorry, getting hammered by the team about some things that are coming out probably in the next couple days. So, but I will not be doing too many leaks today. But let's go through what's been going on in the last week. So much happens in a week. It feels time moves so quickly in Pixels, in Web3, but in Pixels too. So let me just pull up the Pixels post and we can kind of, oh, no, wait, that's not the screen I wanted to share. 1 second here. I have 1,000 tabs. So definitely thought that was the right one. Okay, hold on. How do I remove this? It's chaos over here, guys. Okay, that one, this one, this one, this one. Okay, this is our Monday reminder. So everyone watching is obviously already subscribed to the Pixels post, right? So I don't need to say go subscribe to be in on all the information the minute it happens. It's really awesome. We've got tons of information that comes out all the time. So our Monday, I don't like calling it our Monday announcement because 99% of the time it comes out on Monday, but there's always that time that it comes out on Tuesday. But anyways, our weekly announcements, they contain information about, most of the time it's focused on what events are coming that week, at least events that we can tell you about. And then just any other updates or good to know information. So obviously what's going on right now. And then there's Pixelotl Energy Party happening this Saturday at the beach, the regular beach, not Leaky Luke's beach, the regular beach. So that'll be really fun. The Neon Zone went live. I will touch on that in the update post. And then Leaky Luke's Mullet Melon protocol just ended. So I actually talked to Luke about this on a call. He had no idea. I truly thought you would have seen something in Slack. There were so many people touching things to do with this event that I thought for sure you would have seen something. But guys, we were successful. Saw nothing. So pretty cool stats here. We had over 10,000 players participate in the event, which is really cool. And just tons of mullet melons were found. These are crazy numbers, guys. Basically, 100,000 mullet melons were clicked on in Pixels over 3 days.
That is insane. Also, I want to share some appreciation too. It's funny because like the team always hides this stuff, but they've done something on my birthday like 4 years in a row. Now I think there's something crazy like that. I don't know. I always feel so loved when everybody does that, and like these events have been really cool. So appreciate all of you guys, the community, and yeah, it was just like it was really nice for me even as a surprise.
Yeah, and you know what? I talked about this a little bit on TikTok. Yes, I have a TikTok account that I very sparsely post on. It's the same username as Twitter, Heidi Christine. But I kind of dove a little bit into the thought process behind how we came up with this, because I got a lot of questions and comments, and I was talking to some family members, and they're like, I was like, oh yeah, this is what I'm working on. And every person was like, how the heck does your team come up with stuff like this? And so I kind of dove into the process of this one specifically. And it was, we're working with a new person to put together some community events. And I said, come up with an idea and pitch it to me, which they did. And it was all about pineapples. And then we looked at timelines. And I was like, okay, well, maybe end of August, but we also have Luke's birthday coming up, and I need to figure out something for that. And he sent back a photo of a pineapple with a mullet on it. And I laughed so hard. And then like 3 days went by, and I looked back at the event trying to, kick it off. And I thought it needs to be alliteration. I'm obsessed with alliteration. Alliteration it just makes everything so much better. It needs to be mullet melons. And that's where mullet melons came from. Because when I was first trying to brainstorm things for your birthday, like we've already done everything. Like you can wear a mullet in the game. There's a sauna, there's the robe, there's so many things. So anyways, that was like the start of the thought. You guys can go watch my TikTok if you want a little bit more information on that. But yeah, pretty cool. Okay, moving on. UGC Fair Wrap-Up. Okay, this feels like it was a month ago, but it actually wrapped up like a week and a half ago. But yeah, this was really cool. Over 6,500 UGCs were sold just on the marketplace during this event. So if you think about how many more were sold just person to person or given away, I bet that number hits like 10,000, which is absolutely insane, you guys. These numbers are incredible. Okay, and that's that for this one. So let's dive into the update that went out yesterday. So first of all, we kicked off the update with actually, maybe this is more a Monday announcement vibe post, but really, really important information, okay? So Leon's Neon Zone Leaderboards, you know what, I'm gonna zoom in, give me 1 second. Wait, sorry guys, I actually bought my computer in Mexico and the keys don't match what the key actually does, and I mess it up all the time. How long have I had this computer for, and I still like hit the wrong buttons. Anyways, okay, Neon Zone Leaderboards are closing in 1 week. So this is a little different from what we originally announced with, because what we're gonna do is they are staying open for 14 days, just like the original announcement, just like what was originally planned. However, there's going to be a bit of a break between when the next leaderboard starts. It could be a week, it could be 2 weeks. I don't have the exact amount of time yet, but our team is planning to dive into the data and, really get their hands dirty with it. So you guys, you only have until Tuesday next week at 6 p.m. UTC to beat Luke at higher or lower. Okay. So what slot are you in now? Are you still first?
I think I'm tied for first, but I think because of that, it switches like first and second. I haven't checked in a day or two though. Yeah, we should talk about that because I think you guys are being silly. Yeah, I almost want to do a math lesson one day, to be honest, with like Pixels players. What we should do is we should sit down and we should learn about Bayesian probabilities. We should learn about like combinatorials. It'd be fun, right? If anybody wants to do a math lesson, we should do that. Then we can like talk about odds and like EV, all of that.
Oh my gosh.
Here's why. If you were to do the math, the expected value of like going for number one on the higher lower leaderboard is still lower than the prize amount. But all I'm saying is there's maybe some arbitrage opportunities there.
Right. So I'll answer that question in a second, but sounds terrible.
Okay. No math lessons.
I studied engineering and I did tons of math and sciences and stuff. And I loved math. I love math. I was forced to take a stats course. The first half was so easy. It was like micro, macro, like whatever. The second half, let's just say the only reason I passed is the first half was easy. Anyways, good question here. Do the ticket stubs carry over into the next Neon Zone store, or do we need to spend them all this week? They carry over. So yes, the store will be refreshed with some new items coming up shortly. And yeah, you can hold on to your stuff stubs until then, or you can go and get your hands on the really cool stuff that's in there right now, because I don't know if it's coming back. But yeah, good question. Okay, so going back to this, one more special attention required thing here. Shut the Box and vPixel leaderboard contributions will stay open for 5 hours longer than the rest of them. And that's just because there was a points tracking fix that went in on August 10th. So there were about 5 hours where some players will have missed their daily ranked game. So yeah, just something to note. You can still go hard on Shut the Box and vPixel for a little bit longer than everything else closing at 6 p.m. Cool. All right, now let's dive into the update itself. So clear VIP tracking. So if you remember when we launched this, a lot of people were asking like, how do I know when to level up? And trust me, I was asking the same questions on our team too. And we said we really just, this was a perfect example of us getting stuff out at 90% and then adding those tweaks later. So this came out yesterday. I love this amazing quality of life update. I have asked them to center all the text, so ignore that one. I was told 2 weeks, and I responded with some emojis. But anyways, so you will be able to see how much more you need to spend to reach the next VIP tier, just in the VIP benefits UI, which is awesome. Okay, now this one, I'm going to specifically shout out something random here. I have wanted this forever. Something random has wanted this before it even existed, I think. Like, she has been asking me on like a daily basis for this update. So when I saw it in the release logs update from our team, I'm not going to lie, I spilled the tea to her like a couple hours before the launch because I was so excited that this was finally coming. So wardrobe space gets the VIP treatment. So depending on what tier you are, your wardrobe is significantly bigger, like 72 slots. I actually wonder if anyone has filled that out yet. Can someone tell me if they filled it out? Do we have that many wearables? I don't even know if we have that many. That's really exciting for me as someone who loves wearables. We could make more. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. Okay, better bookmarking. Okay, so this one here. Bookmarks can now be reordered and renamed in any way you want. So here's a cute little GIF I made. Adorable. But yeah, so you can edit this, you can reorder it. So I would say this one has mixed reviews because the Go sign is really tiny, and I agree with you, and the team will make updates in the next code release. So it might be around 2 weeks before this gets updated, but we will definitely do that. But it's a pretty cool update. I think this is something that we could have had, I don't know, a year ago, and it would have been awesome. So I love to see it. Okay, I froze. Is it just me?
I think you're good now.
Can you hear me? Okay. Okay, cool. The next one here, craft smarter, not harder. Okay, that, I don't know if that makes sense. But anyways, you can now search for items by name in your crafting books, which is awesome because sometimes it's like hectic trying to get through all of those. And then, of course, Quicksilver surplus returns. Kickbacks for crafting industries to landowners is back. It's definitely more balanced. I think we can all agree with that. And way better design. It's just a single stack in your surplus instead of like 5 different stacks taking up all your space. So really awesome update there. And then there were a bunch of recipes refreshed, and the task board was updated to be aligned with these. So you can scroll through here if you want to see which recipes were updated. So that was yesterday's update. Any thoughts, questions that you've seen?
I see some questions around like some basic stuff, right? Like, how do I get better VIP tiers?
Yeah. Okay, so VIP tiering system came out, is it like a month ago now? I don't even know. Time moves weirdly. I can't keep track. So basically, what the VIP system is you have to have the base level VIP coupon. You know, you have to have that, and then there's different tiers. So if you haven't leveled up yet, you're hanging tight at VIP tier 1, which is basically everything that you're used to seeing already as a VIP user. And then as you tier up, you get way more benefits. So I will pull up that post. Let me just find it real quick here. But it's correlated with how much pixel you spend in the game. And then it does decay over time. So if you hit tier 4 and then you never spend pixel ever again, you will eventually go back down to VIP tier 1. But it's a slow burn there. Let me find it. Hold on here. VIP just got an upgrade. Cool. VIP just got an upgrade. So here's how it works. Players accumulate a VIP score based on their pixel spending. So pixel spend equals more points added to your VIP score. You all begin at tier 1. This is kind of in relation to when this actually first launched. So you might be higher than tier 1 and not even realize it right now. Go click on your player icon in the top left corner, and then you'll see the VIP UI. You can click on that. But yes, tier upgrades occur instantly when you hit that threshold of spend, and then it naturally degrades a small amount every day. There are a bunch of different bonuses, so go check it out. And yeah, right here it is. So player options, and you can see VIP benefits in there, like I mentioned earlier. And then there's a bunch of like downgrade protections. You can read this on your own time. And then here are the benefits by tier. Plus, now we have the wardrobe space, which is really fun. I feel like I should probably put out an updated chart. But yeah, so that's the TLDR on how it works. Okay. Let's see. Just move from chest to wardrobe. Do we call it a chest? Is it not a wardrobe? The chest. I don't know what you're talking about. Can you explain? Okay.
Yeah, I started with the other questions. There were some people that had questions about like the rewards left. I'm not sure if you have the answer for this right this second.
Let me get some answers for you. I'll ping the team. If you're listening, I'm coming to ask you a question right now in Slack. But we do plan to add more clarity around the rewards in the UI, like in the game itself. Once again, symptom of getting things out as quickly as possible.
Yeah, we did have an enhancement there, even in this update. I'm not sure if you saw that, but if you look at the leaderboards, now you can see how much pixel each position earns in the leaderboards. So that's already in. But yeah, there's going to be more stuff too.
All right, hold on. Let me message. How many rewards are left? Let's see if they understand that. Cool. Okay. Portal to merchant ship table. We haven't given away portals since the Sauna portal. So that could be, I guess we did infinite portables. Those were kind of cool. All right. How many left? Yes, but we'll figure that out. Okay, you know what's really funny? Every time I read this, people abbreviating Neon Zone. I read it as New Zealand.
Yeah, I've been doing that too.
And I'm like, huh?
What did Luke plan? We're going to New Zealand.
Maybe that's the T right there. That's the Easter egg. Sorry, Easter eggs are heavy on my mind, guys, because of Taylor Swift's announcement. It's been a big week. And I'm really annoyed because the podcast is coming out at 2 a.m. my time, so I won't be able to listen to or watch it until tomorrow. Anyways.
Or if Heidi just shows up super sleep deprived to work. I don't know.
Did you see my tweet today? Because like all companies were changing their logos to be like the Taylor Swift announcement vibe. And I was like, if I do that, I don't think Luke would be too happy with me, but I still made the art and I tweeted it. Did you see it?
No, I did see it. Okay. Well, is that all the questions we have on the recent updates? Otherwise, we can kind of talk about some new stuff that we're working on. We'll talk a little bit about play to earn, all of that, and we'll go into like the earning system that we might test out in Pixels pretty soon. That might get tested out in the next week or two, even, I think. Maybe sooner, maybe a little bit later. We'll talk about Pets app and what we have plans for there and like kind of the way that we're thinking about things. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the system too. And then I just keep playing it. Guys, I keep losing my veggie vexer like every day. Anyways.
Okay, sweet. Well, that looks like most of the questions. And if you still have questions about any updates or like anything else going on with the core game, like still feel free to put them in chat. We'll go through some other stuff in the meantime. But yeah, there is some fun stuff coming. So what I'm going to show you guys first is a new system that we're working on that is going to come out pretty soon. They're called offers, which I'm not sure if everybody here is familiar. Like offer is kind of it's like a technical game design term. But basically for you guys, what it is, it's going to be like a new little dashboard that you can look at that's going to show a bunch of different things. It'll show you like potentially discounts. It might show an ad in the future there. Or it will show new opportunities that you guys might have to do a task to go and earn something. And this is a whole new system compared to what we have inside of Pixels right now. And there's a few reasons why we're doing this. So I'll show you this is all test data right now. This isn't like the official stuff. So don't read too much into it. And we're probably going to change how it looks a little bit on the front end. But all the back end is working. Like there was really, really hard to build tech behind this system. So that's why I'm excited to show you guys it, because there's so much heavy lifting on the back end to actually build something good here. Maybe I'll even show you what a little bit of the back end looks like, because I think it's cool. But yeah,
okay, watch what you share.
Who's saying that?
Me.
I previewed it already. I'm not going to share anything crazy. Okay, so yeah, this is our preview server. What you're going to see soon is, at least here, you're going to see a new button. And what it's going to do is it's going to show you a bunch of different tasks. And this is all test data. Don't worry about it. This is all test data, but it'll show you a bunch of like different tasks that'll be available for you guys that are, not quite the same as like a task board. Like this system is extremely flexible. We can basically give you a reward for anything that you do inside of the game, whether it's, farming a crop or whether it's logging in, maybe even sharing content on Twitter. Like this is supposed to be kind of like an everything dashboard for rewards in the long run. In the first stage, we're going to test it just kind of with a few different pieces. So here's a good example of a potential task that we could ask for inside of this. This one's called Second Sunrise. Basically, it's just doing a login streak for 2 days. And we can give you a bunch of different types of rewards. We can give you Pixel, we can give you vPixel, we can give you USDC, we can give you in-game items, we can give you XP, and we can give you things like gacha or loot boxes too for completing tasks. So the system's super flexible. The tech behind it's crazy. Like if you guys are interested in the tech, like we have like a whole like B2B setup here that we're actually going to start to share with other games pretty soon. And it works with like the whole Pixels ecosystem. So how it works is like people can basically go in and create their own offers inside of this whole setup as well. It's really, really flexible. Our team can like basically change offers, like decide when they're going to run, target them at specific people, add rewards, add different context, conditions. It's crazy, this system. And it plugs into a bigger thing that we've been working on, right? So we talked a little bit about like data science and like all this stuff, which I know when I talk about it, it kind of bores some people every now and then. But what we also did, when you guys haven't really been paying attention to, is like we built a whole data science SDK and stack that we can start to share with other games. And the cool thing is we already have shared it with other games, and other games are already using it. So what you're going to start to notice here also is if you go to staking.pixels.xyz now, I'm really excited about this. I thought this was in the game last week, but now it's in the game this week for all of them. You'll be able to come here and you'll be able to see data on roars for each game. You'll get to see daily revenue and daily earnings given inside of each game. You'll also see a really nice chart on roars. So every game that hooks up our analytics SDK and like our data science SDK will get this information posted on their staking dashboard. So already you'll see us, you'll see Pixel Dungeons there. You can see that their numbers and their roars is pretty good, right? Like they're hovering around 1 most days. And then you'll also see it on Forgotten Runeverse and Sleepagachi very, very soon. They're working on integrating this SDK now. Now, anybody that integrates this SDK, this is the cool part, they get all that information on that kind of stuff, but they also get the ability to go and make their own offers and offer rewards with this system and share them with you guys too. So basically, it's a better way for games to kind of give out earnings that are more targeted and more precise and a little bit more efficient. Like the real end goal with this is we want people in the game who are supposed to earn to be able to earn, right? We're much, much more easily able to make sure that we don't give out earnings to bots. And then we're also giving out earnings to basically people who are helping the game and ecosystem a bit better, right? When we talk about play to earn, one thing that we should be asking ourselves and thinking about is like a good example is task board. Is task board really the best system to be giving out earnings through? Like, is that actually helping the game to give out earnings through task board specifically? Or are there better things we could be giving out earnings to players for that aren't so grindy, that actually help grow the ecosystem and that are like basically net beneficial to everybody here, right? Task board is not so great of a system because if you actually want to earn, you have to really, really grind inside of it, and you're competing with other grinders, right? In this system, what we can maybe even do is like, us, you grinding inside of a game, if you're not having fun, is actually not that helpful to the game, right? If you're having fun, you're contributing to other parts of the economy, like there is a place for it. But if you're just grinding to get the earnings and there's nothing else that's kind of happening, like why grind? Like why not just give you guys tasks that make more sense to help grow the game and ecosystem or like achieve the goals that like would help ecosystem health and have it be less work? Or maybe there are some high work tasks that make sense to like show to you guys as well. That's the kind of stuff that we'll be experimenting with next. So even with pixels, we're talking about like a different approach to play to earn. You're going to see a different approach in core pixels, but in the pets app that's going to be coming out too, we're even going to have like a different approach to play to earn there. So yeah, we'll kind of talk a little bit about like different approaches and like different thinkings there. I know I saw some vPixel questions, all this kind of stuff. All this kind of stuff kind of like comes in together. But yeah, basically this offer wall system, it's going to slowly roll out. We're not going to transition all the earnings into the offer wall right away, right? Like we need to test it out. We need to try it. We need to make sure that we're doing it smartly. And yeah, that's kind of the idea there. So yeah, expect a small, slow rollout of that soon. And we'll also start to experiment with different types of rewards as well, right? So I saw some questions about vPixel. We'll probably start to surface some vPixel rewards in this task board also, or in this offer wall as well too. So yeah, somebody asked when this is coming. Pretty soon. It's basically ready to go. You might start, we're just doing some final QA on it. So you might start to see it roll out in the next couple of weeks. It'll be rolled out slowly. Maybe not even every single person in the game will see an offer. So that's the idea. Let's move on to Pets app because all this kind of ties in together too. So I'll share a screenshot really quickly. on the Pets app. Yeah, here's a new screenshot of the recent Pets app build. It's coming together really well now. It's actually looking really, really polished. And now we're in the last piece of figuring out the rollout and the go-to-market. So I'll give you kind of a scoop on what we're thinking and how we intend to like make this go mainstream. So we're working on finishing up this app. If you guys haven't been paying attention, or if you guys haven't been around, or just a reminder, basically what this app is you'll be able to raise a companion or a pet with another friend or user, and you kind of have to raise it together. You have to co-parent this pet together. It's really, really fun. Like it kind of leads to fights with you and your friends that you're raising it with, because sometimes what ends up happening is like one person puts a lot more effort into raising this pet than the other person, and you start to text them being like, hey, you didn't feed our pet, what's going on? You get into little fights. It's a fun like little social element of gameplay. So our plan with this is we're launching for mobile, and we're launching for like an audience that is maybe not so crypto native, right? Now, it doesn't mean that crypto native people won't like this app, but what we really are targeting is we're targeting net new people that maybe have not been exposed to crypto or play to earn before. So one of the things that we're going to be doing is, it's going to be launching on Android and iOS, and we're not going to require a wallet to play at all. And we'll even do payments in, just Apple Pay, right? Like what we really want to make sure is that we don't stop anybody from playing this game who is crypto skeptical, who doesn't want to touch crypto or doesn't know how. And this is a different approach rather than being like, no, we'll just like onboard you into crypto. It's kind of the other way around. Like I want to onboard crypto concepts into normal experiences. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be experiencing with play to earn concepts that maybe aren't even necessarily crypto oriented. And we still will have crypto in the parts of the app that make the most sense. So here's some areas where crypto really makes sense in this app. It doesn't make sense to charge people in cryptocurrency, right? Now, don't worry, because we can still make that work in the Pixel ecosystem. We'll talk about that. But it maybe does make sense if you're earning rewards to cash out in crypto, right? Imagine a game where you're earning money inside of the App Store, right? It's really, really easy for me to spend inside of a game right now on the App Store, right? Like I get a note, or I get like a pop-up on the screen. I double click my like home button. It scans my face. Money's out of my bank account, right? Now, the opposite experience though of like cashing out in real money gaming is really, really bad though, right? Like if I want to, I've been playing a game called Triumph lately, and it's a real money game app on the App Store. You pay with Apple Pay, but if you want to cash out, you have to KYC, you have to scan your face, you have to enter bank account details, you have to like wait 3 days to get the withdrawal. It's a really, really cumbersome process. That is actually where crypto is so much better. We can basically just have payments done in Apple Pay, do cash out in crypto, and you can get a reward for doing an action inside of the game without any payments or like any KYC, or without any like hooking up bank account details. Pretty smooth experience that way, right? So we don't have to make an exception between, or like a trade-off between getting people into the funnel, getting people onto an experience like this, and then also like some of the other side of things. Like really what we can do is we can focus on just like best possible user experience all around the board, right? So that's the idea here. Now, when we think about this app compared to other apps, we think a lot about how do we make an app like this better than anything else out in the market? And what's really the key differentiator, right? We still really, really believe in play to earn. And we think about the core competencies of Pixels. Like what are the things that Pixels has done best? Pixels, if there's two things we've done really well, is that we've been able to harness earnings for growth. And then we've also been really, really good at community building too, right? So if we build anything that's going mass market, what we really should focus on is, using the things that we're best at to go mass market too, right? So we do want to make this game play to earn, but we also know if we're going mass market, the play to earn needs to look really, really different. We also need to do things differently than we did in Core Pixels for anything new that we're building out. And believe me, we're still updating Core Pixels. Core Pixels is still actually primary focus in the company. But we're also using some of these opportunities to, take what we learned in Core Pixels and see if we can go experiment with some other stuff too. Like all this stuff is running in parallel. most of the resources at the company, most of the headcount, most of the employees are actually on core pixels and focused on core pixels. But this is an interesting enough experiment where I want to fill you guys in, because it will also inform a lot of what we do here at Core Pixels. Like, for example, if this Pets app is very successful, maybe what we'll do is we'll also launch Core Pixels on the App Store now that we know what we know, and like implement some of these same methods as well too. So caveat, just wanted to make sure that was clear. Now back to this. For Play to Earn here, what we want to do is we want to kind of bring Play to Earn to normie audiences. Like, a lot of you guys who have been experienced in Play to Earn, like, you already had a lot of crypto knowledge before. Like, you had like some idea of what was going on there, right? But a lot of people have never been exposed to this before, and there's still a ton of opportunity there with normal audiences to kind of have them experience mechanics, have them experience gameplay, and like the magic of Play to Earn without, you know, some of the elements that might have scared them away before, right? So it's going to have to look a little bit different than it did in Pixels. Like, for example, you know, we could do Play to Earn, where instead of earning like Pixel or cryptocurrency, maybe you just earn a gift card or some other things like that as well too. So that'll be the experiment there. This app will not launch without being sustainable. We're also going to be taking kind of a more traditional approach with the go-to-market strategy here, where we'll be thinking about, you know, traditional things like CPI, and like all the boring, like, you know, ways that normal Web2 companies grow. The idea is we want like the solid foundation of Web2 game, where we want the game to be able to stand alone without any earnings, without any like other mechanics, and then have the earnings and anything else like really, really supercharged stuff. So, you know, we talked about like, you know, having open beta to some people, all of this kind of stuff. The plan is like we'll actually probably follow a more traditional game launch rollout. If you guys don't know how like traditional game launches roll out, maybe I'll just like kind of give you an insight into like a company like Supercell. If you guys know Supercell, they made the game Clash of Clans, and they make a lot of other like really, really popular mobile games. They have nailed down go to market with their own strategy, and you know, I don't personally believe in competing with a company like that who has such a solid go to market strategy, because if you're a small company, what you want to do is you want to do something new. You can't do the same stuff as the big companies, but they have a lot of best practices that we'll be taking, you know, inspiration from. And this is kind of like the mobile way to do it. Is you'll launch Clash of Clans. What they'll do is they'll launch their games in a really small country first. Like Iceland is a really good example. They launch their games in Iceland first, because what they want to do is they want to get real data from real players on how the players are playing the game without any rewards or without anything else, so they can make sure that the game is really, really good, that hits all the numbers they want to before it goes out to, you know, a huge other market. So that'll be a lot of what we do and think about too when we first start to roll this out. Like, the rollout won't be when we, you know, start to release the beta of this Pets app. Like, this is going to be huge immediately, right? Like, we actually need to take some time to learn from the Pets app on what's working and what's not, and there'll be a lot of experimentation on, you know, actually the value prop. Basically meaning like, you know, what are people really liking about this? You know, where are people dropping off before we start to go more mass market. So when we talk about mass market, like, that probably does mean we'll start running traditional ad spend campaigns, and that does mean that we need to focus on things like sustainability to do that. And an ideal situation too is we also have rewards that are self-sustaining in this too. Like, we really don't want to start to introduce Play to Earn unless we really, really know this app has rewards over one. So that'll kind of be the idea there. And yeah, I hope that gives some insights into everything that we're thinking. Now with Pets app, we still might do some pixel rewards. But I saw a comment on Twitter the other day being like, when I said, hey, we're going to bring Play to Earn to like normies. No, Play to Earn is just play to sell. This is why we're very interested in the concept of giving out rewards that are not just pixel. And this is why we're talking about vPixel lately. This is why we're talking about USDC rewards. Here's the long-term strategy with pixels. Eventually, and hopefully not even that far from now, we're going to slowly start to stop giving out pixel at all as rewards. I think I've said this on other places, but maybe not so clearly in this AMA. But really the goal is to start to dial down normal liquid pixel as rewards. Now, we're not ready for that completely yet, right? It's much easier and more sustainable to do that when rewards is over one. So in the meantime, until we start to get games that are sustainable and profitable, you know, we're going to still give out pixel rewards, because pixel is an amazing tool until we get to sustainability to test out things, right? the reason why Pixel is great is because if we want to give out USDC rewards, right, that would have to come from, like funds raised or from, revenue made inside of the game. And if the game's not profitable, there's really no ability to give out rewards forever, right? You're going to keep slowly eating away from the money that you have to go out and build games, right? So in order to have a company and like a foundation, a protocol that stays around for a long time, they kind of need to be net positive when it comes to USDC profits, right? So that's the idea. We basically just want to build games that are really great and fun, and generate revenue. Now, what's great also is, we talked about payments, and like we want to take in Apple Pay and like, USD payments instead of its Pets app. What's cool is like when we launch this Pets app and anything else that we do, this Pets app will still be a part of the staking ecosystem, right? So they'll still start to give out rewards to stakers also. And that's why we introduced upgrades to the staking contracts, where we can do things like give out USDC to stakers, and other currencies also. So if the game is generating, a lot of revenue when it comes to US dollars or USDC or anything else like that, it'll have a treasury to pull from that it can maybe give out rewards from, right? So it doesn't necessarily need to. People always ask, where is the USDC coming from? Guys, USDC and all this kind of stuff, it's got to come from, games that are actually generating revenue, and games that are, doing that sustainably, profitably, and growing. And that's the really cool part of our ecosystem. Like we take in like Apple Pay payments, and it can still make sense with the Web3. So even if we don't necessarily integrate something like the Pets app fully in like a Web3 way inside of the DApp, there's still a backend connection where you can participate in the Pets app and, its success in the staking ecosystem, right? So that's the high level. We'll answer some questions now.
Most of the questions that we're seeing, you kind of high level touched on, but it was, how is this related to the main core game? Do you want to just like spell it out plainly there?
Yeah, so Pets app and core game are not related really, is what I'll say. The way that they're tied together is maybe through the staking ecosystem, and if we choose to give out vPixel in one or the other, right? So that's the idea there. Now, I will say what we said and promised, and we'll need to figure out a way to do this right, is we said that we will give pet NFT holders benefits inside of the Pets app, and we'll still stay true to that. Now, after you hear all of that, you'll start to see that like strategy initially with the Pets app is going to be a little bit different than what we initially had thought too. And this is why we keep giving updates, because we want you guys to like understand decision making and what we're thinking. So if you can see, there's no capybara pet inside of the game, for example. So yeah, that might mean that we don't directly integrate the NFTs into the game like we had initially thought. But if we don't do that, we might not even make these pets on chain. That's still one thing that we're thinking about too. There's a few mechanics that we're still like final stages of figuring out play to earn, and how this Pets app works. Where, yeah, one debate was like, do we have these pets in the game be NFTs or not? Like, what does that actually do to like bring in new people into the game and the ecosystem? Is that going to be compelling enough for them? It could be. It depends on if we want these pets to be traded or not. If we want these pets to have a secondary marketplace and to be traded, in the context of this game, it makes total sense. If we don't, then it doesn't make sense to have them be NFTs. So if they're not NFTs, then we'll still find a way to make sure that any current pets owner has like some rewards or like some kind of like benefit inside of this. So there's a bit of decision making still there.
Okay. Anything else you want us to talk about on Pets?
What will the end game be for the mobile app? Will we be able to earn something in the main game from this app? So end game in the mobile app will still be. This is the tricky part about play to earn actually, and like the thing that we're gonna be doing really differently than core pixels. So I would say end game in core pixels right now, until we get chapter 3 out, is still earn from task board, right? And that's not very good, to be honest. That makes issues when it comes to right? If everybody's goal inside of Pixels is always just to earn more than they spend, and that's every single person playing, then how will Pixels ever become sustainable and profitable, right? And that's actually really, really important for the game to be sustainable and profitable, right? Because if it's not, that means it can't support itself. And if it can't support itself, that means it won't be around forever, right? So that's the reality of games, right? But yeah, we think we can get Pixels there, but it does mean that we need to change what the end game of core Pixels is, right? So that's why we're excited about Chapter 3. And yeah, Lazy Boy asked, will we get Chapter 3 this year? I want to confidently say that we will get Chapter 3 out this year. It's planned for much. Yeah, it's planned for much earlier than just like end of year is what I'll say. I don't want to put any like hard deadline or date on it, but the reason why we went this direction inside of Chapter 3 is because it was a combination of things. One, like we do really think this gameplay is fun. Also, this was enough gameplay to get in that wasn't too out of scope and would take a really long time to build, right? So this is why we went this direction. We'll get more details on Chapter 3, maybe in the following game even. Like, we're pretty ready, I think. And yeah, that's the idea. So yeah, the end game for the Pets app, and this is like, people always say this, you need to attract new people who are having fun and willing to spend. Completely agree. Now, current audience here. I think a lot of you are having fun, right? It's funny because everyone's like, you need to attract other people that will spend. I'm not going to spend, but you need to attract other people that will. So, I mean, that is a result of endgame of core Pixels, right? Like, we're not oblivious to it. We're not dumb guys. That's kind of where core Pixels endgame has ended up, and that's why Chapter 3 is so important. That's also why switching up some of the earning mechanisms is really important too. So the offer wall will be very interesting to see how that changes things, right? The intention of the offer wall and this new earning system is, some people might end up earning more in the offer wall. Some people, truthfully, might end up earning less if the system is fully implemented, right? We want to make sure that the right people get the right earnings that help lead to sustainability inside of the game. And then when the game becomes more sustainable, then it's easier to grow, right? So roars being over one is really important because if we can continue to give the right people incentives to come into the game and ecosystem that are contributing to the game, like spending, then the game can start giving out even more rewards, right? So everybody can win in that scenario. But if we're only attracting new players that are willing to spend and just earn, that's also an issue too. So I'm a firm believer that how play to earn can work is like some people can be earners, some people can kind of be neutral. That already is the case. And some people can be spenders. If everybody's earning, like if that thing is like too much over into that direction, it doesn't work. If nobody's earning, that's not even play to earn. There's a middle ground here that we have to find, right? And that's like some of the levers that we still need to play with. What this new offer wall system does is it helps us kind of play with that lever of like earning versus not earning to more people a little bit more in a fine-tuned way, right? And what's interesting too about this Pets app is, the idea is we really need in this Pets app for the core loop to stand alone by itself for people to want to play and spend without the earnings, and have the earnings be like an extra fun loop inside of it. So Pets app earnings won't be super emphasized, right? Or that won't be the point of the game. Like you might be able to do some stuff in the Pets app to earn, but the hope for that situation is people aren't playing it just to earn, right? The earn is more like cool. I got like a little bit of beer money is what they call it sometimes, right? For doing some fun stuff over the course of like a month.
Okay. Let's go through some other questions for now. We can do more pet stuff at the end, but what make the Luke can Bible with Pixel? That might not happen, but just you'll see. Okay. I got details on this. How many pets and wineries are left? One sec. Let me pull it up. I got info on this. Okay, in the Zeller specifically, there are 3 wineries, 5 turkeys, 3 sheep, 0 shoes. So you have to get those from the store if you want them. And there are still 30 pets. Now you're probably saying, I thought it was 25. I did too. Turns out it's 30. There are still 30 pets. No one's won a pet yet. That's kind of wild. So yeah, you can still get your hands on some good stuff there. Okay, you already answered a ton of these questions, which is awesome. Oh yeah, I was just confused by this. I feel like we're one of the noisiest teams, probably to a fault. I feel like we talk too much, so I just kind of find it funny that you're calling us quiet. Like, Luke and I are here every week yapping.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is funny because there's this weird like survivorship thing that happens in our industry where so many teams have died, and what I think I saw the other day is there's 300 Web3 games left in active development, out of like 10,000 that got funded, right? So yeah, I mean, we're here, we're still building. This team is like a good team. We're pushing out updates a lot, and yeah, we're still trying to figure out what works, right? So nobody's really cracked the code on play to earn gaming fully yet. Teams here and there have had like glimpses, like us, of things that have been working for a little bit, and then you got to go drop back to the drawing board and like figure out a new system that will work even better next time, right? So we're still doing that. The team's putting in that work, and we're excited to do it. Like, we show up every week here, we tell you guys exactly what we're doing and updating. You're seeing progress every single week. Not much more that we can do. So if you're not happy with that, then okay, sorry. But we'll continue to show up.
This is a good question. Following that, are we planning on expanding the team? What's funny and interesting and is just very telling of what team dynamics are is that we actually just shrunk the team quite significantly, and we're producing significantly more, as you guys realize. And those are directly related things. And that's just like what happens. We were starting to get a little bit too, I would say, corporate-y, a little bit too, oh, well, this person needs to approve this and this person needs to approve this. And look, I've been around on this team for a few years. We are chaotic. I admitted it on Twitter the other day with Nelly going off about us, everyone having ADHD. It's a part of the team's flavor. Okay.
Yeah.
Luke is the worst. I'm not great when it comes to attention span. We get stuff done quickly and fast. And when things need to be approved because there's like a lot of bloat on the team, it doesn't work well. So anyways, no, we're not planning to expand the team. We might do a few very specific hires if we see a need in the next, whenever. But yeah. Okay, we've answered pretty much all the questions that I had pinned already through just like yapping. So do you guys have any last minute questions here? Let's see.
People always say this, we need to work on a burning mechanism. What I will say is Pixels has burned more % of token supply than any other Web3 game, which is kind of crazy. So what happens right now to tokens, whenever you spend them inside of the game, and you can actually see this, you can actually see the data now. And there's some more cool stuff coming with this. So again, you can see how many tokens are getting spent inside of the game every single day. So you can see with Leon's Neon Zone. I'm not sharing screen. Yeah, you can. So how you can see this now is you can go to staking.pixels.xyz, click on the game, and you will get to see exactly how many tokens are getting spent inside of the game every single day. And how this works right now is I think 80% of tokens, how the split works is like 20% of tokens get sent to like back into the ecosystem pool for Pixels. You can follow that wallet on chain. There's like a ecosystem wallet on Ronin. You can see it just has like a ton of pixels sitting in it. It doesn't really get touched. We actually distribute like a little bit less pixel and they're in it every day. So it's just accruing a ton of tokens. And then 80% is sent either to community treasury or to rewards for stakers. So there's a split. So we talk about revenue a lot inside of Pixels. We said we did 20 million in revenue in 2024. What that 20 million was is if you went back and like looked at this chart for the last like year when Pixels started, basically before we had staking out, all the tokens that were getting spent inside of the game were going to community treasury, right? So there's a community treasury. We still have to figure out what we do for governance with that. Truthfully, what I think is the best for community treasury is that we just kind of leave it locked and untouched for a while. So maybe what we need to do still, like make that official, is like have a DAO vote to just like lock it for 5 years or something like that. But I think there's almost 100 million pixels sitting in community treasury that's just out of circulation because of that, locked away, not touched for right now until community takes it over. But yeah, burning and taking out of circulation are effectively the same thing. Taking out of circulation maybe is better, to be honest. And yeah, this is also the interesting part is, rather than burning, what we can do is maybe we can just stop giving also, right? And that's why we're really, really interested in USDC rewards as soon as we can get them out, because then when we give out rewards to both players and to stakers, this is really interesting. When we give out rewards, it doesn't add any new sell pressure to the token, right? So that's actually going to be the stronger mechanic in the medium term than even like the burning. Like stop giving and start giving out USDC instead of Pixel, because then we can stop more sell pressure than what's coming from the burn. But then there's also ways you can burn too.
Okay, if you have Pixel in game, you are automatically staking. So don't worry about it. It's already happening. Okay. I think correct. Yes, correct. I think we've covered a lot of things. There were just like a couple of little tinier stuff. So Shut the Box leaderboard. It doesn't have its own leaderboard. It's a part of the overall one on the top right. The only game that has its own leaderboard is Higher or Lower. And someone needs to go beat Luke, okay? He can't win. Make him burn all his pixel, okay?
I'm profitable. Yeah, I think I spent like 3,000. Well, it's funny.
Profit.
I think I spent like 3,000 pixel getting that score. I think the expected value, this is what I was talking about with math, guys. I think if you spend about like, don't take my word for this, do the math yourself. I think the EV of getting a score that is mine is something like, I think you have like a 70% chance of getting it if you spend 10,000 pixel, and the reward is 15,000. So
yeah. Okay. Any other things you wanted to cover? I think we talked about a lot of stuff.
We went in depth, I think.
Yeah.
Do you guys like when we go this in depth on this kind of stuff, or would you rather just like chill?
Good to touch on it, you know?
Yeah.
Nerd out occasionally. When MS update. I also read MS as multiple sclerosis. Oh, I can't say that word. I'm not going to. Anyways, it's being worked on. There are things coming soon, 2 to 4 weeks. Whatever else you need to hear for your bingo cards. Honestly, 2 to 4 weeks isn't said very often anymore, so that's probably not a good one to have on the bingo card. Okay. All right, cool. We can end it there. Chat is chaotic. Yeah, and X was not displaying our stream. Like, it just says untitled. So it works if you click on it, but it's not displaying it. So our user count is significantly down. So maybe that means that everyone watching gets some insider information. You didn't get any insider information this week. I'm so sorry. Although I did hint at one thing, but it's not exactly what I hinted at. You guys gotta get creative. Anyways, all that matters is Taylor Swift is announcing her new album tonight. So, okay, bye guys. Thanks for coming.